Yeah. Hey. It's time to graduate from TikTok University. See what the world should mean to me. Second ain't a place, it's a crime. First is a destination every time. You ain't on a Mount Rushmore, a Taekwondo. You might be on the TikTok runner-up floor. Talk tough online, but you fold in the room. Big talk, small steps, same old tune. It's time. Read the room, read the room. Not for the clout, not for the pose. What you built, everybody knows. Runner-up floor, runner-up floor. You keep reaching, but you want more. It's time to rise, it's time to show. USA Taekwondo, gotta go. Runner-up floor, runner-up floor. We hear the noise, then close the door. Hey, hey, hey. You sold the name like it came with the crown. But the paint runs thin when the lights go down. Revolution televised, let them watch it unfold. Truth in the frame and the story gets told. You want respect, then earn that space. Not every loud mouth belongs in the race. Second ain't a place, I said what I said. First is the path, better move ahead. It's time, it's time. No more stall, no more stall. If you can't lead, step off the line, make room now. It's our time. Runner-up floor, runner-up floor. You keep reaching, but you want more. It's time to rise, it's time to show. USA Taekwondo, gotta go. Runner-up floor, runner-up floor. We hear the noise, then close the door. Hey! From the feet to the stage, that ladder don't lie. One step for the truth, one step for the tribe. You can post all day, you can spin that law. But the world keeps score on the runner-up floor. Runner-up floor, runner-up floor. You keep reaching, but you want more. It's time to rise, it's time to show. USA Taekwondo, gotta go. Runner-up floor, runner-up floor. We hear the noise, then close the door.
Been a minute, but only a minute, and we are back. This is the Warehouse 15, and I want to just point out the fact that we have a new T-shirt out for our comrades in arms. I put it out on the website, and every once in a while. So if you have not downloaded the podcast, the Warehouse 15 podcast app, there's an app that'll get you to the merch and to the podcast, and then there's a community there where you can commune with each other. You can talk and share your woes and your hoes with your brothers. But as I know exactly like that. Why did TJ start to smile when I said the second word? But we are back, and I've got some ideas on what I'd like to talk about tonight. But before we do that, we got a little color going on here today. I decided to go black is back, and Moreno's doing some sort of guava, and that looks like guava suavemente.
It's Chicago colors, baby. Chicago.
Is that what that
police
is?
flag. Yeah,
Oh,
bro.
nice,
Come on, man.
nice. Well, you know what
And
the police. I know you're from
and-
Chicago. You've been. Is that a Pop Tart?
Pop Tart.
It's
Is that
a
a
pop
Pop-Tart?
cherry pop. I haven't had a Pop Tart in
No.
Two
a decade, and my daughter.
What's your favorite Pop Tart? What's your favorite
Cherry.
Pop-Tart?
cherry's the
No
best.
way.
Cherry and no frosting for me though.
No.
What do you
No?
like?
It's gotta be the
I like
brown
plain
cinnamon
cherry.
sugar.
I'm
What's
gonna
the brown
see,
sugar?
honey.
Yes.
Can you
bro.
see if we have any Pop
Premier,
Tarts?
Premier Pop Tart, brown cinnamon sugar.
Are they real Pop Tarts? Or
There's
you
no
get
way
those
I lose
bougie
that.
Pop Tarts.
No,
No,
I'm
homie,
talking
these are
about
real
Kellogg
Pop-Tarts.
off the shelf next to the rest of the bad stuff.
Because there are
Red,
people
blue,
trying to make
all-
real, like you can go to like fancy places and get like Hostess cupcakes, but done like by gourmet chefs. And they
Yeah,
do the
it's
same thing
interesting.
with Pop Tarts. You can get like,
Some stuff
Le
just tastes
Pop
better.
Tart instead of whatever.
I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I heard that my Korean T-shirts and my Korean, uh, my honor of Koreans and my depiction is being very well received by Mr. O. So I heard he really likes it. So I'm going to try to find a place to stick that in today. No pun intended. But I do have something I think we should start on, and I just am amazed because we all come from a culture of excellence, and I just finished the book on my memoirs and the stories of my life and what it taught me. And I put a story in there about our brother Naeem Hassan and some other people. But we come from a culture of excellence, and I can't ever remember celebrating not winning and how that could become a thing. And then I saw the weirdest post from either Mas, Moose, Mookie, Mundo, Taekwondo, where they put up the Mount Rushmore of
I saw that.
Taekwondo. And I'm like, in what world is that the Mount Rushmore of anything? The Mount Flushmore toilets of Taekwondo. There was one person on there that you could argue won some stuff. And it was ironic, the guy that came here. But the rest of, I mean, give me a break. They're good fighters, but that's not the Mount Rushmore of Taekwondo. They have forgotten these youngsters, these young upstarts, these whippersnappers, these lethargic, cathartic, non-amnesic players, probably because they don't get kicked in the head enough. They don't know what it feels like. They forgot what Taekwondo is because there wasn't a single person on that should be on the Mount Rushmore of Taekwondo. I mean, let's start with that. I'm going to give you 4. And by the way, there are no women, and you can take that for what you want, on the Mount Rushmore of Taekwondo. There's none, because you got to first get through the men. You can have the women's Rushmore of Taekwondo, but the Mount Rushmore of Taekwondo, there's no one that I can think of, unless I'm missing somebody, maybe Mrs. Moreno. But let's start. You want to start? I'll give you my first for the Mount Rushmore. Shall I?
First of all, I think they said something like it was the gods or something like the gods of Taekwondo or something like that. And
That's what I was
was
gonna
just
ask you.
like,
I don't think it was Mount Rushmore.
but
Same thing.
the,
Same difference. Mount Olympus. And I take
they put
offense to that word because there is only one Olympus. There is only one Olympus. And on the Mount Olympus of Taekwondo, this is what he looks like. But go ahead.
no. I mean, um, yeah, I saw that, and I'm not sure what that company's been doing recently because they've been putting things up like if they didn't play taekwondo, what sport would they play in gymnastics or figure skating or
They'd be
wrestling? And then they have
TikTokers.
They
no, but
just
they have
trolling
like
at this point. Not
they have
trolling,
pictures
but
of
it's
like two
just nonsense.
athletes in baby form who would win in a baby match. It's just like I'm not quite
I
sure
didn't
what
see
they're
that.
doing right now.
I didn't see
I'm
that.
not sure.
I couldn't get past the gods of Taekwondo one. You know, the
Yeah.
spinning frenzy. When did spinning, chaotic spinning without scoring, become something
First of
that you
all,
judge?
there's never been a better spinner in the freaking planet than Servette. Okay,
Correct.
there's
Correct.
not
Let's
even
start there.
close.
Let's
There's
start
nobody
there.
even close.
Let's start there.
Actually, I shouldn't
That's
have commented,
chaos
but
and disaster.
I did comment. I said, you guys forgot about Servette. You guys forgot about Jungkook Chun. You guys forgot about the Huang girl who won 2 Olympic gold medals. You forgot about Pani
Let's
Pak.
start with Jungkook Young. Let's
Yeah, but they're
start with
just doing this
Jungkook
now
Young.
just because they're just trying to draw attention to their website. I mean, like if
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
just gonna speak
I actually
completely
said,
honest about it,
I
it's
said
just this is a bunch of nonsense.
I said 2 out of 3 males are missing an Olympic gold medal. Like that's a little strange, but anyway, I agree with you, TJ. I think they're
They're-
just trying to be shock
yeah,
value, but I think it's
it's
pretty
corny
weak.
to me.
It is
It's
corny. It is pretty corny.
it's corny.
But
We
But
need real
but
history.
but talking about that,
We
like I mean, that's a hard one to do. And I do think we should be if you did make a Mount Rushmore, I think you got to do men and women, just like you have a men and women Hall of Fame in other sports. I think that would be the right thing to do.
I think you can do a men and women. Can somebody close that back door so it stops opening and closing and beeping and making my podcast beepy? The chaos and disaster.
Such a tough
Chaos and
life.
disaster, man. Okay. So I think you do have my point is that there are certain sports that you can't compare men and women at.
Fighting
Cycling,
sports, you
no
shouldn't.
matter
Fighting.
cycling, you can't. Swimming can't. Running can't. It's genetic. You can't do it. There's not yet. Now, with that said, I wouldn't want to fight Ronda Rousey either,
Why?
but
Like I just punch you.
she's tough.
Nah, come on, stop it.
I don't. No,
She's a good judo player.
she's a hoodlum. She's a hoodlum. She'll hood you, man.
You
She's not
crazy.
from here. She's from
You
Oklahoma.
crazy.
She's from Oklahoma. So, all right. So
Crazy.
I'm going back to the Mount Olympus of Taekwondo, of which I'm not on, by the way. I'm going to start with Jungkook Young, and that's my. He gets a place. He gets a place. He's got to get a place. How do you not give him a place?
I think you got to break it down for everyone because I know you say that name a lot, but I think you got to like run the record.
Explain.
Ooh.
So how do
Yeah,
you
for a
the
second, at
guy
least.
didn't lose an international match. I don't want to mention any other names, CJ. That guy did not lose an international match in 10 years, 8 years. He won 4 world championships, won the Olympics, won the Asian Games. He won everything he ever entered, never lost, did not lose a match. That's a different standard. When you don't lose a match, that's a different
That's
standard.
That's Floyd Mayweather. That
Yeah,
ish.
he's in a different world. Talent wise, I think you can go with some other players. Like, I mean, I'm talent wise, the list goes on, but
Yeah.
unique players is a different
No.
conversation. Jung Myung Sum, you could say what you want about the guy, but the guy was an amazing jumping creative. He makes CJ look like a little boy in a candy store. Jung
First of
Myung
all, I
Sum is
mean,
and
it's
effective, by
funny.
the way, knock guys out.
I was thinking about this a little bit, and I'm like, listen, you could just go with just Korea
Just
on a
Korea.
Mount Rushmore.
Just
Like, I
Korea. To
mean,
be honest, not anymore, but just Korea back then.
yeah, I'm just saying back then. I mean, you think about Chung Kuk-chun, you think about even was it what's
Kwon
the guy's
Kwan,
Moon? No,
Moon Dae
Park
Sung.
Kwon, Moon Dae Sung. You talk about him.
Yeah.
You got Jin Sun Tae. You know,
Yep.
they've got a lot of Korean fighters back in the day that were, 2 or 3-time world champion, and
Wait a minute. How do you not go with the guy, the bantamweight from '88 that won every division?
Bang Min-sa. Oh no, Ha Tae-kyung.
Hot take.
I said it
How
a
do
long
you not?
time.
How do you? How do you not? How do you not?
I said he was what again. This is what the problem is. There's a bunch of and TJ. I don't know. Maybe chime in. What do you think? There's a bunch of uneducated, historically, you know, deprived people in this day and age. They can't look past 4 years or 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Like they have no idea. Even the people like Brigitte, people like Ramos, people like Gladys, people like Pascal. Like these
Good
guys,
one. Good one.
Carlos Negre. I mean, there's just a
Yeah.
bunch of really good
Listen, you
Italian
don't.
fighters, French
How do
fighters.
you ignore Victor Estrada? How do you ignore Victor Estrada?
How do you ignore Ireno? Yeah,
How
Victor Estrada.
Fargus? How about Fargus? How do you ignore him?
Yeah. Anyway, there's just a lot on there, and I know it's the modern day, thing that they put, but I thought it was a little disrespectful to some of the people of the past.
Well, we
You
don't
know.
exist anymore, so that's the good news. They have a
But
15
this goes back
second.
to what I was talking about
Yeah.
last week. I mean, everybody has a 20-second reel after every competition, win, lose, or draw. We're dropping the reel like next day. Sometimes on the plane, it's up
Yeah.
quick. You know, I mean, we're definitely. I mean, you said a lot of good names, a lot of big names, but we're just in this like, I don't know if it's promotion of the sport or it's the watering down of the sport. But I mean, we celebrate and point out things that like. I mean, when we talk about the relevancy of some of it, it's just like, why are we even talking about some of
Well,
it? You know what I mean?
I went into, I'll see these things that pop up in my feed, and I got to be honest, I'm slightly embarrassed for the people that write them and the people that are subject to them, right? So they're written about a particular individual, and this individual hasn't won, and wins and loses and smiles and dances and TikToks, and then I read the comments, and I'm like, really? So
Where's that coming from?
dude, I don't, it's like they go, oh, I just wish, should I do it like he does? I'm like, yeah, please do it like he does if you fight me. Cause I always like the guy that aspires to be second place or third place or wear a fur collar. And I think it's just a mentality that's unfortunate because it's dumbing down. The sport is dumbed down, but it's dumbing down even the expectations of what happens when you get in the ring. There was a time, and there should be a time, where competition is ugly. If you don't win, you don't matter. That's just reality. And by the way, that's professional sports anywhere. If you don't win, you don't matter. If you can't win, there's Black Monday or Tuesday, whatever they call it, and they fire you because you didn't
Yep.
win. Now, it may have nothing to do with you. Another team practiced hard, it was hard. You don't win, you don't get paid. And apparently everybody's forgotten that mentality. And that's why a country of 330 million people can't win. Can't win. It can't win because it doesn't have a winner's mentality. We have a mentality that makes it easy for everybody else to beat us because they actually have a winning mentality. So, but anyway, enough of that from me.
Hey, what do you guys think? I know, yeah, another legend in Taekwondo passed away. Day One Moon from
Oh, I loved him.
Mexico
I liked him so
passed
much.
away, and it was really strange because he was very healthy and he fell and hit his head, and
Oh,
yeah,
is that
it
what
just
happened?
yeah,
Oh
yeah, he
my
fell.
gosh.
His wife found him at his house, and he passed away. But he was strong. He was 83. He was doing things the week before, teaching and stuff like that. I mean, he was in good shape, and I mean, uh, uh, my grandfather had the same thing. He was pretty healthy, and he fell outside his head and had a bleed and just never recovered. And it's crazy that when you get that age, you just you never see it coming. But I mean, again, talking about generational people, there's a lot of people, for sure in this country that have no idea who he is, and there's a lot of people probably, and maybe in some of this new generation of the Mexicans that don't know who he is, but he's literally the founder, the father of Taekwondo in Mexico. Like literally brought Mudokwan over there and formed the federation, was the president of the federation, coach. He's Mexican. He's been in Mexico so long. He's Mexican. The dude has his own tequila ranch. Like he's an unbelievable man
He
and stuff.
fought.
And
He fought too. You realize, right? Like he was a really good fighter.
I
He was a Mudokwan guy, so I knew him because my instructor was Mudokwan. So I ran into him a lot throughout the years, and I was on the technical committee with him when we changed the
Mhm.
rules. But he and I went to Mexico to teach a seminar for the U.S. Olympic Committee and for the Pan Am region about Taekwondo. I was one of the guys, and we went out together for an amazing lunch. And so he fought Chuck Norris. He used to come in and fight point tournaments here. He was one of those guys. So when
Okay.
he got off the boat, he started fighting. So what I thought was interesting was the outpouring of everyone, the
Yes.
amount people just talking about him and knowing of him. And like you said, in Mexico, he was the Juan Moreno of Taekwondo.
Yeah, right. Not even close. He listen. He brought
Oh,
to he
I
brought
meant the Gareth Brown. I'm sorry, the Gareth Brown. Sorry. Or the
he brought
Clinton. O. The Clinton. O.
he brought Taekwondo to Mexico, and he had Mudokwan strong for, obviously, even now it's still strong, but there's the Mudokwan broke up at a certain time. Like one of his prized students, is someone that he found like in the streets and brought him up and broke away from him, and it kind of divided Mexico, like the Mudokwan. I think after '88, sometime after '88, but even those people that kind of went to the other side, like you said, Young, I'm just on Facebook and I'm just seeing all these people pour out their stories, their pictures, their respect for him. And I don't know. For sure, 1000%, we don't have anybody like that in America. We don't have
No,
anybody like that. You could say
no.
Jun Rhee in those days, but Jun Rhee didn't bring Taekwondo to America as as a WT type person. You know what I'm saying? As an Olympic kind of person. I know he was one of the originals, but like nobody sits back and go, "Thank you, Jun Rhee, for all you did for the U.S. Olympic Committee movement." You know what I'm saying? So, and that's not to diminish him because obviously he's a pioneer and the way he looked at martial arts, but he didn't look at it as a sport, at all. Not like we do in any of the sense. But yeah, it's sad, when we're getting to the age where we're seeing some of the people that led us and and just kind of were there at the beginning. They're just kind of passing on. So yeah, all due respect to him and his family. So
May he be remembered as he lived. So
yeah,
he was quite an amazing man and always generous with his time. Very opinionated, very
yes,
strong in his will. We
Yes.
had a lot of conversations about Taekwondo, but it's hard. He did the dance, and so if you do the
Yes.
dance at a high level, you got to listen. You can't ignore the guy because you got to listen. He did it at a high level, so you can feel differently about what he says, but you got to at least give him the courtesy of hearing his opinion on it. We had a couple of go arounds on the point system. He didn't want to change the point system to the
Yeah.
multi-tiered system. He thought it was too much. So I have a funny story about it, but I won't share that one now. I'm going to save that one. TJ, what do you got
It's
for us today?
crazy. It's crazy. I was before we got on, I was watching a little bit of the European Championships, and like for some reason I was thinking about you a little bit, Grandmaster, and just I'm going like, man, not and like if I stopped watching Taekwondo, let's say 15 years ago, and I turned it on and watched some of the matches. These were high level matches according to what we do, but like the difference in what it looked like and what it is now is probably the most extreme thing when I look at it from like the bigger picture. Going if we because we never stopped. I never stopped watching it. Right. I never stopped training it. I never stopped competing and teaching it. But like if you just stepped away from the last 15 years and then you come and look at it now, I kind of somewhere in my brain, I'm going, I see why these people go crazy online sometimes, and they're like, "This isn't Taekwondo," because it's not. I know. That's why you popped into my head first when I was watching these matches. But I'm going, man. If I stopped and I wasn't involved, I didn't see the little changes and the scoring changes and the height changes, all these things. Like I would kind of be able to go, like, man, this is not Taekwondo anymore.
Listen, my wife is like, she's younger than me, but she has a lot of friends that she grew up with in the '90s and early 2000s. Is exactly to your point, TJ. They get on, they watch Taekwondo or they're Taekwondo fans, and they're like, "What's going on?" And they can't, they, they have no idea what's going on in the sport, and then it kind of goes over into politics and what's going on, within their country. And it's funny just to see people that are out of it and come back into it. It's Sven, doing podcasts right now. I mean, he's bringing in, people that he grew up with that haven't been around for the sport for a long time, but the people can't, to Grandmaster's point, they just can't even stomach it. They can't even understand it. It doesn't make any sense to them. So I really get it from that standpoint. But like you said, we've been in the cycles. We've seen the changes. We've seen the ups and downs of it, and so I guess we just accept it, if that's the word. I know that's not the best way to
I think
go
we just
about
kind
it,
of
but
blended into it a little bit because obviously we work with it, thrive in it, coach it, and like I understand it in my brain somewhere, and I can see it's the style difference, and it's just this generation of like it has to be like this. And you can find some place to put your good shots, but the structure is very much the same across the board. But like it is, it's just funny when I remove myself, I'm going. That's why these people go crazy sometimes. 'Cause I was watching one of the European boys like hold his leg up and like hop wiggle, wiggle, front side flop, put their leg down, stand stiff. And I'm like, if I hadn't watched it in 10 years, I'd be like, what the hell did I just see happen? You know what I mean? Like you would probably be the most confused person in the
and
world.
it's even
So
worse
this
when
is
you look at the scoreboard and say, what scored? Like what was that? I mean, I saw some. I mean, young the to TJ's point, I tell you what was crazy though was there was some wild endings. Like they're losing and then they score a point and then they score another point and the guy falls down. So they go from losing to 1 to winning by 4 with 2 seconds left. And the guy steps in, back whip kicks him in the face and hits for 5 points. You're like, what are you doing? I mean, just madness on both sides. Like, how do you give up 5 points or 4 points in 2 seconds? And then how do you get hit with a spin kick with like 1 second? Like you could dive out of bounds. You could do anything
so
you
many
want. He
things.
stands there, the guy goes poosh, drills him in the face.
Was that the
Crazy.
74-63 match? I think I watched that one earlier. That was
74.
crazy.
Yeah, I
That was
forgot which one
crazy.
it was. And then I
That's
watched
why in love hate.
did,
I'm gonna stay in love hate with the whole 6 point to the face spinning and all that stuff because if you're getting worked for a whole round and now, I mean we're watching it like this and nips and
I don't
stuff and
like
you're
it.
still getting six for it. I know.
I don't like it.
I can't
I
make
don't
it make
like it.
sense.
Like I
I think
said,
Europe likes it.
there's no extra, long shot in the last 5 seconds of basketball. There's no extra long shot in soccer to kick it from half court. Say you get or half the field, you get 3 points, or same thing in football or baseball, or it's nonsense. I don't know what.
You don't remember
And
Rockin' Jocks? You don't remember MTV Rockin' Jocks?
I
You
do,
never
but
saw
like,
I
that?
remember for some reason. I remember
So
the name. I don't remember what it was
Rockin'
about.
Jocks was when they had the jocks, actual basketball players, and then they had musicians on the basketball court, and they had a regular basket. They had one above it that was 5 or 10 points. They had one that was higher. Then they had one that was 25 points, like yeah, like almost on the ceiling. So that's the rock and jock. That's the
yeah.
rock and jock model.
Truth be told, like, yeah, it's not on TV anymore. So
There you go. There you go.
there you go.
Well, how
Well,
about the level? What'd you think about the level of the Europeans?
I
The
mean,
matches that you watched so far.
well, let's talk about them compared to Pan Am. So I mean, I'll be the first to admit, you know, the Pan Am's had way too many wild cards in there, and the way too many wild cards, people really didn't deserve to be there. It's like the people that were going to the Grand Prix challenges for whatever reason they got in the first five from the country and go there and get smacked up by 12 points every round. Like they just didn't deserve to be there. They didn't earn to be there. And that those wild cards were there's a lot of ones that probably didn't. There was a few. Like I mean, I could tell you we had one of our guys that got one through the President's Cup, which I think is a legit tournament. He won the 58 division. We had Brazil final. He won it. So wild card went there and won it. But I don't think there was many of them at all. So anyway, to the level, I think that the Europeans fight a certain style, obviously, just like we fight a certain style. Um, they,
You think the Pan Am region fights a certain style?
yeah, yeah.
Really?
I think we have a little bit more of a rougher style. I think we have more of a choppy style. I don't see us just standing there like those guys would be patient
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
in front like cancel, flop, and they'll open up and do some of the same stuff. But we get at it. We have more scuffles and exchanges and stuff like that. And it's
Yeah.
I think styles make fights. I mean, sometimes some of our guys can go and do that to them, and then sometimes those guys can go ahead and smack us up. But I think overall, if their level is like this, ours is like this. You know what I'm saying? We have a few people at the top that could fight with them. They're just deeper than us. And that's you know they have so
Yeah,
many countries that are close. So yeah,
I go back and forth. I mean, like I said, maybe I can understand the wild card for the President's Cup, like you said, like the
yeah,
gold medal at the President's Cup. I get it. I understand, but I miss the days where it was just single person per division for the Pan Am Championships, and I think they
me
did that
too.
because we didn't have enough people per division. Is that why we were trying to make the divisions bigger by doing wild cards, or
I think
what was the point of the what was the point of the
I,
wild cards?
I like the wild cards initially. I think there was a lot of people, a lot of countries that were having problems within their national team, and they gave people the opportunity to kind of circumvent that at one tournament a year, and
Mm,
that was the President's
yeah,
Cup. But then they went to the under 21 and this one and that one. It was hard to get a medal at the President's Cup, and I think at one point it was just
yeah,
only first and second. At one point I think it was
yeah.
you had to win it. Then it was first and second. Then it was any medal as long as there
Higher
wasn't
finisher
another.
per country, right?
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
think it was well intended. It got a little out of control in this one. And again, Europe didn't have that. You didn't see three or four people in the same division. So I think it was more a true championship, true national team, level championship. And they look,
the venue looked
well, they're
good
cool.
from the TV. From what I can see from the TV television, the venue looked good.
The venue, it looked like a Grand Prix. They had the finals at night. They introduced them. I mean, everything was nice. I mean, they fought. But I heard some things back and forth. Some people were saying one ring the PSS was good. The next ring it
Yeah.
wasn't. Then some guy had Hogus that didn't work. I mean, there's a bunch of discrepancies, that I think went on. But overall, it looked like a higher level. I mean, but that's just from looking from the outside. We'll see. We'll see at this Grand Prix. This Grand Prix is going to be tough. The first Grand Prix,
Soon,
two
not
and a
that
half
far away,
weeks.
huh?
Yeah, yeah, it's coming
I'm still
quick.
jealous. I'm still
I'm curious to
jealous.
see like who's going to show up. And one thing I noticed, there's like a bunch of like I gotta look at the exact names, but I was looking at the draws today, and I saw a bunch of Thailand guys, and they have to be from the juniors, or I don't know where these guys got points. Like lighter guys, I gotta check them out again to see where they're
You
ranked and
talking about
stuff
for the
like that.
Grand Prix?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be. I mean, what do you mean by who's gonna show up?
Well, because President's Cup is in Europe is the same time, so
Oh,
there
that's
might
right.
be
We're
some
talking.
people that just say, you know what, I'm going to go to President's Cup for a G3 versus go to this. I
That's a
right
tough
now,
decision. I mean, it's not.
right,
It's not really a tough decision. It's a tough decision.
it's a tough
I mean,
decision.
it's a tough decision.
You just said it's not really a tough decision.
I
Then you
know
said
because I'm going.
you had
I'm
like you
going
said the
because
same thing.
I'm.
You said my name is
I know. I
Bill
know. I
Willie
know.
Walden. No, I'm Willie. I'm
I
Wanda.
know because I'm
Are
going.
you
I would
Bill or
just go to
Wanda?
our regionals. I would go to our regional championships in my brain. You know, and then I'm going. Oh, do I want my guys there to fight the Grand Prix with all the other people?
I've
So
I've
it's
always thought about that. That's a place I've wanted to visit. Your brain. I would like to be in your brain one day, just to visit. I don't want to live there,
you
but I,
you wouldn't make it out. You wouldn't
no,
make it out
that's what
alive.
I'm afraid of. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. The but
Um,
are you married? Are you married?
yes,
You are married. How come I didn't know
yes.
this? Did you know that?
I'm keeping a secret from you.
He,
Yeah.
you're married?
Who?
What are you talking about?
PJ.
Talking about me.
He's not married.
I didn't think he's married because he
Nah,
wouldn't
he's
get
not.
away with that room. That room wouldn't exist anymore. His man cave
Hey,
would
this
be
was my
gone.
bargain. And nobody sees it anymore. But this was my bargain. When we moved
That's
to North Carolina, I
this
had to
is
have
oh
my man
that's all
cave
right.
room
All right. Yeah,
for
yeah.
my podcast life and
It
my
was the
video game.
purple life. The purple life that was getting me the purple
You got to
life.
build one of those things, TJ, that you open up and you go inside. You got like a little speakeasy and stuff. That'd be tight.
Dude,
You have
I
One
went
do
day.
you guys have basements in North Carolina?
I think some places do. I don't know. Actually,
where
no.
do you
Yes, I think so.
where do you think they keep their cousins? Of course
I
they
know.
got basements. That was
Do you
of
have
course they
do you
got
have a
well,
basement?
I don't have a
me?
basement. I have a
Uh,
ranch style home. No, I'm just one level.
Wait till when you get a cousin, you'll have him in the basement. That's where you keep him locked up. You and Rick James.
I miss basements though.
I bet you do. I bet you do, Diddy. Where do you keep your baby oil? I bet you do.
Uh,
He
I
said,
just like
he
I like
said,
homes that are built with
he
basements.
Mike
They were
Tyson
always
that.
so
He
like
said, I miss basements. I miss basements.
but
I
I
just
haven't
want
had
to get on
basement
the plane with you
since I
guys.
lived here. I've been what I moved here in 97, 26, so almost 30 years. So I'm
You
not. I
got
mean, when I lived in
there
Chicago,
are basements in Florida. They just call them sinkholes.
eh,
So,
now you got to pay
dude,
a lot of money to have a basement here
dude,
because they
in I
can
mean,
build it,
like
but
in
it's
Florida, you could have something, and the next day you show up and it's gone.
that's like in
Like,
the middle of the country or middle of the state. They
is
got
it?
sinkholes up there. Yeah, yeah,
You're
they got
okay? You're
sinkholes
okay
up
over
there.
there? Um,
Shit, some might open
Why
up in the backyard. Who
why'd you
knows?
look at me? You made a quick
Man.
turn. You made a well,
You know
I
what?
think
Because for
yeah.
TJ, you know, so I have my whole backyard is like all pool deck area. You know, I have like pavers and stuff like that. But before I had my half my backyard was the pool, the other half was just grass, and the grass was fine. Then all of a sudden it started getting like a little dead patch in the middle, and it spread. I was like, man, it's crazy. This is over a period of time. So I took it all out, and because when I was doing some reconstruction in my house, they were taking a lot of like stuff and putting it out there in the yard. So I thought, you know what, maybe something killed it. So anyway, I scraped it all up and I had resod. Same thing, everything was beautiful, everything's fine. And sure enough, like 8 months later, that middle part started like just dying. And I noticed that it went down a little bit. There's like a little dip. And I'm like, dude, what if there's a sinkhole? I'm gonna
Sinkhole,
come
man.
outside one day.
One
Nah,
day
it
you're
never
going to
happened.
step into your leg. Don't. It's time. Takes time, man. Sinkholes just don't happen. But you're in North Carolina. They have
Me,
you
yeah, I'm
guys.
in
They
North
have
Carolina.
fracking out there, right? Do they do fracking out there? You know
I
what
don't know.
fracking
I've only been
is?
here for.
I know what fracking is, but they don't have it there? I don't
Do
think
they
so.
have? Do
Do
you have
they?
coal mines there? This is North Carolina. You got coal mines.
I'm not sure. I've been here for a little bit over almost a year and a half, but I don't know.
Next
I'm
time you
not
go
sure.
to Baskin Robbins, ask them if they got
Ask them, do they got coal
fracking. Yeah.
mines? I'll ask my
They'll
parents. They'll
know.
tell
They'll
me.
know. You can usually tell. But if you have fracking, that's the problem is that fracking. I learned this because it's helping
Mhm.
my son with his homework. It causes earthquakes and all sorts of ground erosion. So
Yeah.
they shoot water into the ground and to get the oil loose, and then they have to put the water back in to stabilize the ground. Here in Foster City, we're on an island, and they have landfill, and then I have a lot of water that goes under my house. I actually have maybe an underground stream or something. And there's two different schools of thought. You just leave the water, you don't pump it out, and then it just equalizes, right? If you pump it out, then you're disturbing the ground to settle. Yeah, so I don't know. So it's been a minute, but I wanted to kind of transition into, I've been getting this kind of socially responsible kind of thing, and I think that we've talked about this just ad infinitum, but there does come a point in time where I think we have to talk about solutions rather than just problems. And so whether you guys do or don't, it's, you don't have to, right? So you can't bring somebody on your journey. But I think there does come a point in time, there's a window of opportunity for people that want to fix Taekwondo in the United States. So under the Olympic Charter, there's a window to challenge the NGB. And I'm going to think about this for the next little bit. And this is a mechanism that many people have used in the past to fix bad NGBs. But it may be time over the next few months to a year to create a groundswell. There are people that feel that soccer, because it's having the World Cup here in the States, is going to explode soccer. I don't believe that to be true. But with the Olympics in LA, there's going to be a tension on sport in general, and especially sports that are in trouble. And you have a 6-month window before the Olympics and a 6-month window after to challenge the NGB. And I got to be honest, I think it may be time to put together a group of people and start a GoFundMe and raise some money and get there are attorneys that do this the right way and challenge the NGB and its fitness to administer the sport. So I'm going to give that some thought. And
Is it every Olympic Games 6 months before and 6 months after? There's a window that
there's a window,
any
unless they've
sport can be
removed it.
challenged?
Yeah, any sport you can challenge the viability of a sport to be the representative governing body, and it's specific. It's a different level. When you do it outside of that window, there's different requirements, or at least there used to be, for the level that you had to reach to get them to be challengeable. But you can do it virtually during that window, and it's an easier process. So I'm going to think about it a little bit and talk to people I know and the attorneys I know that handle this kind of stuff to see what the bar is. And then I'm going to try to get a feeling from everybody that listens to us and see what they think about it.
Let me ask you another question. Do you think, I mean, maybe this is, not maybe, but this is for you, TJ. Do you think that the administration will have a turnover after the 2028? So, for example, I know in Brazil, like we have an election coming up, and so there's going to be a new president. So there'll be just by natural, process, there's going to be, a new person every 4 to 8 years. Where over here, the CEO is not elected; he's appointed, and so by the board. So he really doesn't have any term limits per se, and neither do the coaches or anybody else like that. I mean, there was no, if you, even when you go back to the original hiring of people, there was no notification or announcement that there was looking for a hiring. Now there was for this last coach, but out of all the coaches, that's the only one. I think the two guys, the two foreigners, and the former Olympian that is there. Now the person of development. Like I don't think there's ever been an announcement, a public announcement that if they're looking for someone, they just create those jobs, except for those last the guy that's coming over from Asia. So interesting enough, they don't have any term limits. They don't have any. I mean, I can't say they don't have oversight because I guess that technically they do have oversight, right? For the coaches from the CEO from the board, but we all know how that works and how it has worked.
Most
So
other
I don't
NGBs aren't set up like that, or do you
know.
know?
All the NGBs have a board, all the NGBs. So it's set up like a corporation. A board of directors looks over policy, CEOs handle the business, and the board of director has one employee that they can, usually two they can hire and fire. One is the CEO, and the other is the attorney. And then the the CEO can hire and fire everybody else, but if the CEO doesn't perform, then you remove him. So when I was on the board of directors,
These guys don't have any what we call in military benchmarks. Like, you know what I mean? No
well,
one's going like we're not having
they're
they're not
supposed to.
succeeding.
The
They're just
board isn't doing its
no.
job. So you have a board that's malfeasant, you have a board that's ignorant, and you have a board that's self-interested in just getting a plane ticket somewhere. And it's weird now because I think the board members get even less than they used to.
Strange because they were
But back to
supposed
the
to. I mean,
media, but back to like the media and stuff. I mean, you don't see like it's all written up and probably delivered when they go talk to these guys about, you know, we've done this or we're doing this or we won this tournament, we got second here, third here. It's who's selling the story. So as long as they're selling the story, I mean, they're gonna be able to keep doing this with no one's actually paying attention to what the results actually look like, what the community feels like, what's actually happening live. No one's paying
well,
attention.
you
They just
don't know
read
what you don't know, right? The board doesn't know what they don't know. I mean, they're a bunch of independents, and so when the CEO comes to them and says, "We did this, this, and this," they go, "Okay, pretty good."
But according to like Don Lewis and them, half of these guys, almost 80, 90% of these guys don't even show up for the
I saw that.
meeting.
I
They
saw
just
that.
try
It's a
to be clear, they're using the NGB as a potential way to get into the USOC board seat, which is never going to happen. So when we were vetting, and I was on the original vetting committee of independent directors for USOC, and what we found was all these guys had no interest in Taekwondo or being on the board. They were using it as like a stepping stone to try to get to the USOC board. Um, the problem is that when you have a board member, the board member is supposed to be the check and the balance. He's supposed to be developing a action plan with the CEO develops an action plan or a business plan. The board members then hold him accountable for it. And if he doesn't deliver, they either don't bonus him or they remove him. They give him a probation period and they remove him. So when I was on the USOC board of directors, we removed 3 board directors. I removed a couple from Taekwondo, and that's because they didn't do their jobs. A board, and on the board of directors, which is the city council, I hired 3. And the one that didn't do his job, I went to his office and told him, "You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And if you don't start doing what you're going to be doing, then you can give us the day you're going to leave, or we're going to give you the day." And
I
so
don't.
we removed him. And so if you don't hold your CEO accountable, CEOs love boards that are asleep, because then they do
Chris.
whatever they do what's in the best interest of themselves and the staff. And that's always the balance. And that's one of the problems currently, quite honestly, even with the USOC board. I mean, I challenge you guys even
they
to
said
name
there's
the
about to be a
people.
board election up too soon.
Well, first of all, they have staggering boards, so it's only positions. You know what I'm saying? It's not
Yeah.
like a full turnover. So it's like if us 3 are on the board, like you go this year, his is next year, and mine is the year after that. So that way, there's never a full turnover. There's always some kind of
They do that
continuing.
for a reason. They do it for
Yeah,
continuity,
it
and they
makes
say
sense
knowledge. It makes sense if it's going right, but there
if it's
comes,
going right. That's correct.
to be
Well, these
honest,
guys
right?
like
Well,
the
who's
board
on your board
hasn't.
now? Who are your board
I
members
have
now?
I have no idea, but I know Mr. Lewis posted something the other day what TJ was referencing, and supposedly they haven't put out their minutes, which they're supposed to do, according to their own bylaws. I think it was
Newspaper, I gotta
from
find it.
January through March, and here we are in April. I'm sorry, May. They're two months, late that we haven't seen the meetings. Now, I don't know if they had a meeting or they just didn't publish it. I don't know anything about that, to be honest with you, because I don't really care. But
They have to
when I
publish them or they're out of compliance.
but that's my point. They
Yeah.
Yeah,
haven't, so they are out of compliance.
yeah,
Whether they had the meeting or not, they should,
yeah.
they should be public knowledge. So
Let them
it's just
let them dig their own hole. But that goes back to my point: is if you care enough, right? And I get tired of trying to fix America's problems with regard to my sport, but because we've got a lot of people out there that are unhappy, and we talked about this last week. They don't say anything, but they cheerlead, right? So like you go on these posts about the last performance of their Wonder Boy who didn't perform. Oh, good job. I wish I could spin like you one day. And which one do you like better, the millennial one or the Gen X one? And I looked at that. I was like, what? I didn't even know there was a difference between those two. I don't like either of them. They don't win. Give me the winning one. I'll take the one that wins. If that's the boomer, send me the boomer, right? So like, yeah, I wax poetic, but I do think it comes a point in time where, you know, we've talked about this before. What's happened is The true performers are out of the room. They don't have a single person in the room that was a true performer. None. So the second and third and fourth rate guys, and I realized this about one of my own personal friends. I realized one of my friends didn't have any of his ex-friends in the room anymore. And that was because all his ex-friends were more successful. So at that point, when those guys enter the room, he's no longer the guy. It's nice to be the big fish in the small pond until the big fish comes in or the shark comes in. And so that's USA Taekwondo right now. They got a bunch of minnows, and then they got under, I don't even know what's under, a tadpole. The tadpole is running the coaching program, and then they got more tadpoles under that. So they love to carry bags because at least they're in the room. Before then, they couldn't even get, we didn't even know their names. I mean, I got to be honest, half the people that I'm reading about now, and I see people putting up on podcasts, like the name goes up and I go like this. Who? Like, I have a general rule, which you guys have heard before, but, I'm going to get a lot of emails after this, and it goes really simple. If you talk to somebody and they don't know my name, if I don't know them, you tell me their name and I don't know their name, they're probably nobody in the sport. If they don't know my name, they're probably definitely nobody in the sport. And I would say that about either one of you. And so if you don't know your history, you don't know the sport. But, there'll be people come, do you know this guy? I'll be like, I never heard of this guy. If he doesn't know me, then he's definitely nobody. And I know that's kind of arrogant and terrible to say, but it's not untrue. If you don't know who Jungkook Young is, you don't know this sport. You didn't do the sport at a high level. And I could throw out a bunch of other names that would be the same, right? So anyway,
that's a
Pascal,
tough one for me.
Pascal, you don't know Pascal? You don't
Yeah,
know
that's what I'm
the
saying.
sport.
Or Jensen Tay. I mean, there's just so many
You
good
don't know
ones.
the
That's a good
sport.
point.
You don't know the
Hobby. People
sport.
forget about Hobby. Remember when Hobby was killing everybody from France,
Oh
TJ?
man.
I mean, that
Mhm.
woman was like, she was a beast,
What about
man. It
Hadi?
just,
What about Hadi?
well, Hadi and Barbie are still around. Hadi and Barbie from Turkey. They're both presidents of their country right now.
Yeah, but you
So
think people know for their record?
no,
No.
it's. I mean, I don't have a record like those guys. I'm not trying to say it, but like people know me more as a coach now. I mean, some people know me as an athlete. They'll say stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
It's
he's
just the
killing
wrong
niggas.
era. This is just the era of promotion. I mean, like if there were video cameras rolling when you guys were fighting or when we were, I mean, you'd be sensations. You'd be rock
Yeah,
stars. You would
for
just it
sure.
would be a whole different
You mean
light on
I
the
could get
sport.
I could get a feather boa too and color my hair and put on sunglasses and act like I'm
No, I'm being
Lenny
serious. Think
Kravitz. I
about
could
it.
be Lenny Kravitz.
We're
Lenny
I mean,
Kravitz, Jay.
I remember crawling, sitting in front of a television watching VHS tapes of fights from the World Championship. Now
Yeah.
these kids have access to it immediately. While the event's going on. I think that's a game changer in itself, and like that's all this is. I mean, if they were filming and YouTubing and TikToking and all that stuff, it'd be insane.
Well, I'm going to challenge you guys for next week. Here's the challenge. The challenge is, and Dr. Capner and I talked about this last week because he's been listening to you and he wanted to say hi. He said, "Do you wonder?" He says, "I wonder, have they changed?" Because I'm hearing you guys talk, and I'm hearing little cracks in the veneer. So he wanted to know, and he's going to hear some more tonight. So he wanted to know if your opinions have changed somewhat. So I'm going to challenge you of Taekwondo in general, because like you said something that I thought I had my hand up your butt and I was puppeting you. I thought I was marionetting you, man. I'll wait for you to start. I'll wait for you to start, like maybe put on my shirt and get some guitars in the back and get rid of
But
what is
I think
the
you and Steve
Joker?
are like honestly like misreading us because listen, I think TJ, and if I could speak for you, TJ, we both love the old school Taekwondo. We both respect
Yeah.
it. And I appreciate the stepping and the setting up and A makes a B makes a C. I hate all this junk. I hate throwing all this shit to the wall and seeing what sticks. I hate what I have to but at the same time, I I'm not naive to say that the athletes of the past are just as good as the athletes of the future because it's not the same in baseball, basketball, and football. These kids are bigger, stronger, more athletic, even though they do weird things. If you watch the good ones, and I'm not talking all of them, you watch the good ones, they're every bit as good as people from our era. They could do things. It's just that the system is just bad and they just do what they need to do to win. Because
Well,
I'll
I
be
don't
the
think,
first.
but I don't think any of us are saying we're on the same page. None of us are saying the athletes aren't good. So I'm sad for the athletes
Yeah.
because you know, as an athlete, you do what's necessary. Like
Correct.
I
True,
won,
true.
I did what was necessary to win. You what we did in practice, what we did in the ring were two different things. At the end of the day, you got to work the system, figure out the system. So I don't think that's the case. I think what was interesting though is you guys have, and with all respect, you got to you're the same thing as I would say. If they're serving pizza, you better be buying pizza, right? So you go to this tournament, you can want all the old school taekwondo you want. I saw what happened to Aaron Cook. That it didn't work out so well. So I don't think we're saying that, and I think it's just that it's interesting to hear TJ say the things he said tonight, which was like,
Mm.
and he said something really important, right? Not for the first time, but he said, and I've never put it this way: if you didn't know what a Taekwondo uniform was, right? Let's just assume you don't know what a V-neck is and all that, and you didn't know anything, and you put a kid in a room that had never seen Taekwondo before, and you put in like match this thing with the other, and you put old school Taekwondo, new school Taekwondo, point karate, whatever, name your thing. I don't think he could draw a line to Taekwondo. I think you'd look at it and go, I don't have a match for that one. You couldn't look at what used to be Taekwondo other than matching the uniform and say it's the same thing. You'd get a better match. I watched the point karate I watched the point karate, must have been the US Cup or something, and a guy lifts up his leg and does the hop thing across the floor, right, to score. And with the exception of the punching, if you just saw those kicking techniques, you better it be a connection.
I think you're
So
I
wrong.
guess, yeah, no, I it's crazy because for sure, like I think we talking about a long time ago, but we've been to the realm where these kids are fighting their first tournaments on electronics. I just had some of my newer green belts go to like some state tournament and like they're making them do electronics. I mean, that's all that's all they know. I mean, that's what the coaches are teaching from this level. Like that's my biggest issue is what's being taught to at the bottom. They're teaching them how to stand with their leg up and flick and turn and flop. There's no real taekwondo development. And I was in a good era where I kind of we did everything, sliding,
yeah.
stepping, switching. And I think those are the people that can kind of change and keep going. But we're teaching these kids how to try to quote unquote win from out the gate, how to just touch the chest guard or
Can I
defend this
ask?
way.
Can I
There's
ask you
no
a
way
que-
around it.
Can I ask you a question? Because I'm a little naive on this one. So I notice I've got this kid who's pretty good, and Coach Reynolds worked with him before. And now when I teach kicking, I always teach retraction, extension, half retraction, foot to the floor. What I'm seeing now more of, and it might be because of the nature of electronics, is gluing your foot for some period of time before your foot comes down. So the retraction part has gone away somewhat because I think is it that you're trying to get contact to the chest protector to get the point?
I always try to tell my guys to bring their foot back so we can keep using it. But I think it is that kind of occupying the space thing. People are literally putting their leg out there so their leg's stuck in the middle long enough that they don't get hit back. That's what it
Is
looks
it
like. So
that
then you get
or is it the sensor?
it could be both, but once you hit it, you can bring your foot back and hit it again. I think they're just I mean, I watch people cut, kick, and cancel. I
But
mean, they just cut and just move their leg out there straight.
does it require this? Or does it require or can you do this?
Who knows?
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, I would say if I had to bet, it's this.
Yeah.
It's
That's
not
what I
this.
think
It's
too.
it's not
Yeah.
it's not a pop.
Yeah.
So,
No, you gotta
but
yeah,
look,
you gotta hit it to a certain level. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
so
You
Hyung,
got to
I,
leave your
I
foot on
to
it.
answer your question, like I listen, there's times like okay, I say if you're in certain range and you kick all the way through, you're like boom, and I want you like you got them, you go through, you know. But there's more times than not that like, I agree with TJ. I'm like I want them to snap and I want them to be able to put the foot down straight. I want them to be able to. I always tell them like when you finish your kick, it's like throwing a punch. When you finish your kick, you're done. You're done. Then you get hit and you have to start all over. When you snap your kick, you can continue going with the same leg, or you can put it down and kick again.
Yeah.
You're in a position to do that. So I think like again, going what TJ is saying, I think if you're teaching real taekwondo, you're teaching them these type of things. And there'll be a time where you say, you know what, let your foot stick. But the problem is they've learned it like this. They can't snap.
No.
When
Yeah.
I do seminars and I warm up, let's just say I read the room. Okay, we're gonna stretch kick, front kick, rounds kick, side kick, back kick. They're horrible. They kick horribly. And then I go double up on. They all go, and I go up all flop. They're like, and they're like rolling their hip, and I'm just kind of going. these guys can't even do regular taekwondo, but they can sure do these flip flop wickety walk stuff that you say. They really can. They can hop down the floor and do that. They can
I don't
wrap their
understand it.
foot in circles. It's odd for me. They can step up, but they don't even understand the concept of a fast kick, of a short motion, like kind of. Doop. They just they don't know how to push off both feet. They're like 1, 2. It's a strange
Yeah, and
thing.
I
Or
think that's the thing that like, and maybe you guys know this better because you see it a lot. The lack of connectivity is always interesting to me, but also what I'll call directional change. In other words, if you were going to be a high level fighter during our day, you had to be able to do this and this at least. And if you couldn't do this and this, you had to be able to, and if you could, you would do this and this. Your motion, your dimension was four dimensional. You had direct motion, direct side motion, and then you had in and out. You had to be able to tease that in and out, which I don't see at all these days. All I
that's
see is
very
when somebody
linear.
goes forward, they go forward.
It's very static and it's very in place. It's very forward. There's very little like angles and going under. If the angles is just like angles with your body or angles with your kick, not angles with your step, not too often. So yeah, I would definitely agree with that. That's a problem. Let me ask you
Let's
this: is there
go
any
ahead.
other sport that you could think of, you could say like this technique just doesn't work anymore. This style of training, I'm talking basketball, boxing, football, volleyball. There's something that you say this just doesn't work.
They've all evolved, and that's been my point from day one. And this is a good one for TJ, right? So if you were to take a picture of basketball from 1992, 1988, Olympics, and you take that same basketball game in 2016 or 2020, 24, you would see an evolution of the sport. You would see an upward evolution. You can't say
Would
that in
you wait on
Taekwondo.
time out? That's not okay. I'm gonna
What, boxing.
okay.
Has there been evolution in boxing? They used to box like this, coach.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
you got
No, but
guys that
I'm talking for 88 to 92. If you put 88 and look at right now, good
you don't
boxers are
think
good boxers.
basketball? What about
No,
basketball?
no, I was gonna say basketball, there could be an argument for a de-evolution. Now, I'm gonna give you for evolution. These guys can shoot three pointers like
Yeah,
guys like there's no
like that, like
business.
it doesn't matter. Yeah,
Like the big guys can handle the ball, but do you
yeah,
see the way they travel? Do you see the way they pick up their pivot foot? Like it's so sloppy. They
yeah.
get away with like 3 or 4 steps. Like these guys in the 80s and 90s, they go like 1, 2, and they're like they call for a trail. These guys catch the ball, they walk 2 steps, they pivot around, they pump fake, they step 1, 2, and I mean they literally
Think
change
the
their feet.
rules. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean it's pretty crazy. So I get what you're saying, and if I had to say yes,
Track and field,
basketball.
track and field. They run faster. They jump higher. Gymnastics, figure skating.
But you heard that TED's talk. I forgot that one TED talk about our athletes actually better, and they compare Jesse Owens to Usain Bolt in the 100 meters, and they give this like little like that's Jesse Owens, and that's Usain Bolt. And by that time, it was like a 1 second, you know, advantage for Usain Bolt. And they say, of course, in sprinting, that's like a mile.
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
said, yes, but let's look at some other factors. They said the weight of Jesse Owens' shoes was, a pound heavier. He ran on cinders, where he runs on a synthetic track that actually propels you
Bounces.
forward.
Yeah, he
He
bounces.
Jesse Owens had digs a hole for his starting block, and these guys got these state of the art based on your size and your strength, your leg length to push out. They had a stopwatch like that. They have a Omega watch that just it's down to there's no
Millisecond.
discrepancy. So when
Yeah.
when they took all those things in there, they were like they were like right behind each other. Oh, Usain Bolt was like point something. It was
Interesting.
pretty cool. So then they said that Jesse Owens took a boat to the German Olympics, eating like horrible food, whatever. This guy's got the best nutrition, the best massage, the best therapy. Like When you
Hyperbaric
take all that,
chambers. Yeah,
you
yeah.
take all that into play, like, is he really a better athlete? I mean, on surface, I say yes. Usain Bolt, come on, stop. You can't. But when you add those factors in, you could do the same thing with, some of the players now and whether other sports, like, are they better volleyball players because they jump higher and they smack it harder? Maybe, but they also got a better floor. They got better shoes. You know what I'm saying? They have better conditioning, better health. I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, these guys have different ways to swing their arms now than they did before. So, yeah, same in swimming. Same swimming. They got the pools. They have no quake.
No
In
wake.
the old
Yeah.
days, they used to bounce back, but now they go down, and it's just a lot of things that I
What would
think
that
that
be for Taekwondo?
What's
the
that?
advantage.
Yeah, like the difference. Like you're talking about, like the uniforms or the hogies
Uniform
or
chest protectors. You got uniform chest protectors. Like in fighting sports, it's a little bit different because we don't really have all that much performance enhancing equipment. But like a chest protector in Taekwondo, to be honest, isn't necessary anymore. You need a uniform with sensors. The chest protector doesn't serve any purpose. People don't hit hard enough for it to matter anyway. So you could actually build sensors into a uniform that would be just as effective. Why they haven't, I don't know. People don't kick hard enough that it matters anymore. Originally, a chest protector protected you from getting hurt because if you didn't have that chest protector, you'd get hurt. Um, but what would be different? I think this is one of the nuances of this conversation, and that is the rules dictate the athlete. So there's a reason why in basketball you have tall guys playing basketball. In soccer, the rules don't dictate the athlete. The athlete, you have a wider range of bio bandit kind of type of people you can put in it. In boxing, the rules don't dictate the athlete. They, because of the nature of the sport, you can be an outlier. Mike Tyson was small, but he was crazy powerful, right? There was a Korean bantamweight, Hamjun. He was terribly small, but he was crazy crafty, right? Even Jung Myung Sum, he wasn't tall, but he was crazy athletic.
I
So
think in boxing, most of the people, yeah, they can be small. I mean,
they
there's a
can be
lot of small
small.
people because
They
there's so many
generate more
different
power.
weights. There's so
But
many weights and
but if
stuff like that.
you think about Taekwondo with the advent of the electronic, you take the chest protector off and you take the electronics out of the game. Do you end up with these same athletes in the room?
No.
No,
no.
no. The athletes now are
I mean,
becoming,
no.
I don't want to use the word retarded. It's the best one I can, but that's the correct word. The athletic development of this sport is being retarded by the choice of the electronic chest protector. Now you have ballet dancers who are flexible.
Say that,
You have athletic guys, but they're not fit and durable.
like TJ, like if you said these guys are better athletes overall than what was in the past. Let's say at the end of and
Maybe,
let's you.
maybe.
I'm just using a division. Let's say in any division, feather, light, welter, middle. Let's say in any category there was. I'll give the benefit of the doubt. 8 top people in middleweight. Like there was eight
Yeah,
people that you had to be worried about. You probably in your era, young, there was probably three,
maybe
maybe
three,
four.
maybe
You
four.
know, so
Now what do you
now
have?
now you have 10, 12.
Yeah,
Like by the time you get to the round of 16, they're like you got to be careful. And there's some dangerous ones in the round of 32 that could come in and mess you up, especially from certain countries. But TJ, I mean, there's way better sports conditioning. There's way better nutrition.
way better
There's,
science.
way, yeah, the science part. Let me just put it there. The science is not even close. And so it allows these guys. I mean, we talked about it, I think me and you personally, when I watch these kids from Brazil, young, they're like, hey, how's everybody's weight? Your weight's good. Yes, I'm like 5 pounds, 5 kilos. I'm like, you're, you're 5 kilos? Like, yes, no problem. I drinking 2 liters of water. Then tomorrow I drink one and I go down to 3. And then I sweat and sure enough, they show up with their little scales and they're eating meat and pasta and they're just like nothing. Like nothing. I
Dude,
told TJ
you got to watch this movie. There was a movie I watched on the plane. And I was bored, so I watched it. It's called The Cut, and it's got John Turturro in it. and it's about an aging boxer who steps in at the last minute for a fight against a contender, and him trying to cut. First of all, you shouldn't watch it; it'll probably traumatize you, but watch it anyway, right? Because it'll bring back memories. Big while eating chips, but it's kind of what you're talking about, where the tutorial plays this guy who's that guy who, he's like, you won't like my methods, but you'll make weight.
Yeah.
But
When
You know,
watch it.
when you
Jim,
guys were at when you trained at OTC or like majority of your Taekwondo career, were you doing strength and conditioning? Like, was it like a big part of your regimen? No, me
I,
neither.
I,
I always tell
so
people that when they ask.
yeah, I know it's funny, right? But you got your so let me go back. I didn't until I met, my coach from Chicago. He was like when he had me in the weight room like 3 times a week and we did pull-ups and push-ups. Not like we're not doing bench press and stuff. We were doing cleans, but we were just doing a lot of body weight strength. And he was a very fit person. So he introduced me to that. When I moved to Colorado Springs, I became a little bit more educated, talking with even people like we mentioned his name, Clay Barber, even Tim Conley. We wanted to go to the weight room more, and the coaches were like, "That's a waste of time. All we did was run, jump, and stairs." And
Yeah.
so, TJ, I know in your era, because of people like me and you, Young, we introduced to at least to a lot of the American public plyometrics, jumping on boxes, changing directions and stuff.
Yeah,
And
we
I
did a
know
lot
that
of
was like
play.
a huge fad from 92 on because people weren't, even the people that I was around weren't doing plyometrics like the way I
Yeah.
did plyometrics, not
Yeah.
even close.
Yeah.
And so, but I know for 92, when I started doing seminars and things like that, that was one of my things that people had never even seen before in this country. And so all these
Yeah.
people started doing it. And that's your era. When did you start taking on TJ?
I was 11 years old, so 1996, 97,
Yeah,
98,
so
somewhere in there.
so the people around you would have already started like learning this stuff, and so you got that kind of stuff firsthand,
Yeah, we did a
It
lot
made
of
sense.
we did a lot of jumping, like the old school stuff, jump, kick your feet this way, kick your feet this way, the split jumping, all that stuff, the
Yeah,
jump roping. I mean, we did that for like hours like every week we at least did it 5 to
yeah,
6 times a week. We were always
yep.
jumping or landing or bounding or doing something like that.
But
For
that's why you were
distance,
so
for height.
explosive and
So you
fast. I
could
mean,
you could have you could have back in the day, and to be honest, even now, body weight stuff like push-ups, sit-ups, plyometrics, those three core exercises, if you did them, you'd be fine. You could
yeah,
do the other stuff if you wanted to. There's something to be said for. I'm all about the Olympic conditioning program, and my son does it in soccer, right? I'm all about that program, but you could just get away with plyometrics because it's sport specific, and then push-ups and sit-ups would give you the durability you needed, body weight drills, and with running and sprinting, you'd be fine. All the other stuff is nice to have, and probably at the highest level when you're fighting the 1% against the 1%, it's going to make a difference. But cardiovascular conditioning, plyometrics,
but I,
stuff
th-
that you
but
need that.
I think that nowadays a lot of stuff that we use is for injury prevention
Yeah,
because
yeah, durability.
yeah,
Yeah,
durability to protect,
yeah.
these thinner people. They need a little bit more structure and stuff like that. And
Plus, when you're
I
Would
think
fighting
you
12
argue
months out of the year, you're fighting 12
that's what I was
months
about
out
to
of the year, it's
say.
a
Yeah,
different
they're
thing.
fighting more.
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
Like we needed durability because, quite frankly, we were killing each other. Like if you couldn't get hit,
But it's funny. So they fight more, but there's way less contact, and maybe that's the
yeah,
reason there's less contact because they have to fight so much that
yeah,
they're just like, you know what? I'll just do this. If they only had 2 terms a year, they might just be like, I'm
these
gonna let it
guys,
rip. Does it make sense?
yeah,
It
it
could.
But
does.
is there still a certain point in the sport that you start focusing on, like let's say, because I think coordination is huge. I think a lot of our athletes just aren't coordinated, and I think going back to the whole athleticism thing, like lifting their knees up, running, changing directions. I think there's at the bottom that stuff's important, but I feel like our sport has went very heavy on all this stuff you're talking about, all the strength and conditioning stuff. You can almost say in certain countries, certain places, it's almost 50-50, 60-40. Like it's a very heavy condition, and then taekwondo kind of matches because whether it's their style or the game, you only need this much. But I feel like so many countries have went very
But
heavy.
that's why I'll go back to my Uzbekistan stuff, and even when I watch them, I still have a belief, because I still know that Iran and Korea, and they all can do Taekwondo, but they have this element where they're like, you know what? We got to do some of this stuff. We got to do some of this band resistance stuff. We have to do some of this overspeed stuff or some of this resistance. So I see it, and then it goes back to what you said, Young. The system makes them fight this certain way. They're doing all this stuff, TJ. They can do all this stuff, but when they get in the ring, they stand
Yep.
there and they
Yep.
stay static. I mean, I always tell people it's better to have the tools and not, I said this before, better to have the tools and not need them than need the tool and don't have it. So do I teach stepping and do I teach motion? Do I teach rhythm? Yeah, that should be the highest common denominator. That's what all the big guys can do it if they need it. Now they might not need it. They might be able to just buckle down and kind of stay in a
But as
pattern
kids, they gotta have it. As
and
kids, that's
kids, they
gotta be
should
what
have
we're
it
focusing
because
on. Like,
you won't get it later. That to
Yeah.
your point,
no,
TJ. If
Yeah.
if they start at 8 years old, and they're starting younger now, they're starting at 8, 7, 8 years old, and if they haven't like had that instilled in them by the time they're 12, 13, 14, forget it. It's not coming. It's not coming. It'll be too manufactured. It's not part of their fabric. It's so like forced. And
rigid. Yeah.
yeah, they'll make
You
some
know,
strides,
like
but it's not there.
you gotta like, so, they talked about this in Korea back way before they were the first ones coming up. They did all their basic fundamental training when they were young. So by the time they get to university, they're just specializing. They're
Yeah.
conditioning and specializing. And so I think you got to build. That's why I hope that America, I still teach basics. I mean, I don't mean like high block, low block. I'm talking about basic kicking, motion, all the stuff that matters, check motion, sliding, getting in, getting out. And I'm going to continue to teach it because that's what matters. Now,
Yeah, we
will it
do too.
always matter? It'll matter.
I got little
Right
5 and 6 year olds
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
steps that they have to make for yellow belt, steps they make for orange belt, steps for green belt,
Yep.
steps that go with each other. So
No, you
1,
had
2,
one of the
3
best.
go with 4, 5,
Your
6.
system. I know you don't want to share with everybody, but your system. I remember you telling me once what you did, and I was like, man, that totally makes sense. Like that, they have this. They know what fits, and then you add more stuff as it goes on, right?
Yeah.
And I thought that was really brilliant. So, all right, well, it's getting late. I know you guys got to get up in the morning. TJ's got to get back up on Tinder to find a girlfriend and then a wife. But
He's married for real, Young.
is he really married?
He'll get me
Yes.
stabbed.
What?
Yeah, his wife's gonna
Married?
come and kill him.
Is she?
Yes.
Is
He'll
she?
get me stabbed.
Is she so?
This
What's
might be
her?
my last
Is her
episode
name
on the
JT?
podcast.
What's
Been
her name?
real.
Does she have a name?
No.
Why you never use her name, man?
She was a national team athlete from another country too.
Really?
Yeah, she
Haitian?
lived here in Miami too.
He said Haitian. He's so stupid. I've had this conversation with him though. That's the silly part. This is not the first time we talked about this for sure.
Never. You
It's
never
all
told me
good.
you had a wife. I mean, I thought you were charming and
He
interesting. I
keeps her in the
figured
basement.
oh, that's where she is. Don't- This isn't a scene out of Pulp Fiction, is it? All right. Anyway, with that said- all right. Oh, TJ just quit the podcast. All right. Now
Yeah, I'm
I
done.
know I
That
had
was-
your
that was
mom.
it.
I had your mom mad at me. Now I got your wife mad at me. Your imaginary wife.
I'm running
Hi,
out
honey.
of people that love
Hi,
me.
hi, honey. Hi. I miss you too. Oh, it's so nice. Hello, TJ. I miss you. All right.
All
Well,
right.
one day bring your wife. Put a picture up of your wife. Come on now.
He don't follow me on Facebook. He'll follow me on Instagram. Go with my Instagram. You'll see plenty of pictures.
Your wife.
No,
Your
Michael Jackson.
wife. All right. All right. This has been the Warehouse 15.
Peace.
We are.
Hey, wait. Hey,
Oh,
next week I have a doozy for you guys. Next week.
waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. All right. We're out.
Next week.
Peace.
Peace.
Hey, I stopped.